Hello, fellow magicians, and welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to explain what a spiritual warrior is. So stay with me and I'll tell you the story. Life is a battle, and spirituality is the toolkit you need to survive it. Through my own personal experience, I will show you how to live spirituality on a daily basis. This is also the journal of the Averamento Sustainable Community, an experiment on human evolution, seeking to create a different type of human society based on sacred principles. Hello, fellow magicians, and welcome back to the channel. I think that today's episode is going to be one of the most important ones that I'm going to make, and is somewhat a continuation of the video that I made last week. So last week we spoke about how when you empower something or a person outside of you, that person can eventually become a tyrant. And that idea, keep that idea in mind because it's quite relevant for today's chapter. And here a disclaimer, because I'm going to be using the figure of Jesus in a somewhat unusual way, I think. So if you're extremely religious and you're not quite open-minded to exploring new ideas about spirituality and the Bible and whatnot, I suggest that this video is not going to be for you. Everything that I'm gonna say about Jesus right now is actually in the canonical Gospels. Jesus actually, the figure of Jesus is actually based on prophecies that are written in the Old Testament. And one of the problems or one of the issues that Jesus had to confront in his life was that a lot of his followers thought that because he was supposed to be quote unquote the savior, that he was actually going to fight against the Romans, meaning, take arms and do actually a physical aggression against the Romans. And Jesus always, throughout his life, had to fight against this idea and had to oppose this idea because his mission was different and he understood his mission in a different way. And here you have to keep in mind that the Jewish people previously, prior to the Roman Empire, were enslaved in Babylon, and then they were enslaved in Egypt. And now at the time of Jesus, they were oppressed by the Romans. And then Jesus, although the prophecy of the Messiah was related to the Savior actually freeing the Jews from their oppressors, Jesus never wanted to do that. Jesus was always opposed to that idea. And he said a phrase that is the key of why he thought that. He said that the kingdom is within. So it doesn't matter, what you do on the outside to improve your outside world. Whenever you do something to correct a problem that is expressed in the physical world, you're only trying to mend the symptoms of what is going on. And that's why Jesus said that the kingdom is within. Because he knew that it didn't matter if he saved or freed the Jews from the Roman Empire. This issue of slavery was going to continue because something internally in the culture probably. So he knew that fixing the outside was not going to bring anything on the inside, or was not going to change anything because, you were only mending the symptom, and then the symptom was going to arise in a different way and express in a different setting. And you have to, that's why you have to be the warrior that is always looking out for the ideas that are actually controlling you. Instead of you controlling your life, something else external to you is controlling your life. And whenever you have or you give your power to a nice outside force, that force will eventually become the tyrant of your life. And so that's why, we think, for the most part, and I know that I'm doing or generalizing here, but for the most part, people think that someone else is responsible for manifesting the health, the wealth, the freedom, the intelligence, the stamina, the strength, whatever you want. Something else external to you is actually the one that is responsible for manifesting the things that you want to see in your life. And so this is really easy to see when you think about health. And I'm going to use a personal example here. And keep in mind, again, a disclaimer. This is just an area where I've been successful doing something or manifesting something that I wanted to manifest. And that by any means, or by any stretch or by any stretch means that I am successful in all the areas of my life. That's not the case. I still have to work on a lot of things in my life, but this is something that I've been successful expressing or manifesting in my life. So think about health. A lot of people think that your health is the responsibility of your doctor, of the food companies, of the pharmaceutical industry, and you name it, but it's not yours. And that is one of the things that as a warrior you have to do. You have to take the responsibility of the things that you want to manifest in your life and act accordingly. So an example in my life is that I've always thought of myself as a healthy person. I've never been sick beyond having a cold from time to time. And the only things or the only health issues that I've had in my life are injuries. Because sadly, that's the only way that my body can manifest something and say, something's going on, stop, pay attention to something else, and yeah. But those are the biggest issues that I've had in my life. And this is something that I'm doing consciously. I'm consciously expressing and saying that I'm a healthy person. And when I do that, that means that I have to be responsible for what I eat, how much I rest, how much I exercise, and everything that is related to my health. The things and the nutrients that I put inside of me, the way that I cook, what foods do I choose, the amount of outdoors activity that I have, etc. And so that's just an example of what is successful in my life and how, by actually, cleaning these ideas that society puts in your mind and actually programs in you, I've been able to manifest. And I'm going to make a disclosure here. I'm 50 years old. And, according to society, when you're my age, you are supposed to at least have some type of health issue, be hooked to some medicine for life, probably, and so on. And that's one of the things that I, as a warrior, that I also identified, and I said, this is not my reality. I don't want that for my reality. And so at this age, I'm still strong, I'm still extremely healthy, I'm still very active. For example, last Sunday, I went biking with a bunch of guys, and actually I was amazed. I haven't been biking for 2 months, and I'm still strong. And, I was able to catch up with them, and even, I wasn't the last in the peloton, so that's nice. And someday I'll take you biking with me and I'll show you some photos. But these are the things or the paradigms that society usually wants to engrave in your mind, and they, if they don't serve you, they don't have to be true. If you don't like them, you can change them. You can say, I don't believe in, I don't, for example, I don't believe in aging. I believe that my age doesn't say anything about me, because I'm still, as I said, extremely active, and even childish at some point if I want to play or something. So that's one of the things, in an example that I give you, of how I've cleaned these ideas that society engraves in you, that are not necessarily true, and they don't have to be true, because again, you are the creator. And one of the functions of the creator is to be a warrior, but a warrior against the ideas that don't serve you, and then that don't help you manifest the things that you want to see in your life. So if an idea is actually serving you, then keep it. If it doesn't serve you and it doesn't help you manifest what you want to see in the outside world, then change it. And it's up to you. You can choose it. But again, there are people that are so that hold on so firmly to these beliefs, that for them they are willing to even fight for these ideas and to defend these ideas, and to actually they want to even engrave these ideas into other people and want them to share these ideas so that they can defend this identity. No, an identity is just like clothing. If it serves you and it protects you, you wear it. If it doesn't, you shed it. For example, in a country where you actually have 4 seasons, there are certain clothes that you're going to wear when it's winter, and some clothes that you're going to wear when is summer. Why do you do that? Because it serves you. Because, given the outside weather that you have and the outside conditions, it's more practical to wear some clothes than others. And so, yeah, think about these identities and these ideas like that. Like clothing that you wear depending on the outside forces and outside weather that you're living. And keeping in mind that all these identities and all these things are something internal to you, and they are there and they should be there so long as they serve you and serve the purpose that you have in your life. I would say that the function of a warrior is to identify the areas in your life that you're addicted to. And the definition of an addiction is something that has control over you, something that you cannot control, something that controls you instead of you having control of that something. If there's an idea, a belief, a behavior, an action, an emotion that is controlling you, that is an addiction. And I would say that the primal function of a warrior is to identify those addictions and actually get rid of them and destroy them. And you can be addicted to anything. Like as I said, there are people that are addicted to the idea that if you're a certain age, there are things that you shouldn't do. So my age, right? So if I'm 50 years old, I can no longer bike, or I can no longer climb a tree, or I can no longer, I don't know, go to the jungle and walk in the jungle, or hike in the jungle, or I can no longer swim in a river, I can no longer anything, right? If you have these ideas and these ideas are working against you, and you are not the one that put these ideas on you or into you, but an external source gave you these ideas, then you have to shed them. You have to let them go and say goodbye to that. But there are people that are willing to, they hold on so much to these identities that they are willing to fight for them, even if they are not serving them. They think that they have to hold on to these identities because that's what is expected of them. Nothing is expected of you except what you want to manifest in your life. So keep that in mind. I mean, you are the one that decides and chooses what to think, what to do, how to behave, what to manifest, because you are a creator. And as a creator, you have to exercise the power of the warrior. And the fight is always within, because the kingdom is within. And so, with that, I would like to close this chapter, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you for staying with me. Thank you very much, fellow magicians, for staying with me till the end of this chapter. I also want to make a request that you please subscribe to this channel and give it a like and share it with your friends, because that will help me grow and keep doing videos that are spiritual and that are meant to help other people. As usual, I'm looking for members to the community that I'm creating. If you're interested, I'm gonna leave the link to the community down in the description of this video. And as always, if you want me to expand on any of the topics that I touch here, please write a comment down below, and I'll see you in the next chapter.